Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Venerable Chief Reverend Naikahamduro, Venerable Sir, friends and children in the Dhamma, good evening and welcome for our Saturday Dhamma talk. Today we begin a series of Dhamma talks based on the first ever sermon teaching of the Blessed One, the Lord Buddha, which is called the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Before we go into the contents of the sutta, to describe the Dhamma embedded in the sutta, our idea is to give a clarification, explanation on the background, the historical background, the legend behind the sutta. It begins on the naming day of the Bodhisattva. After 7 days of his birth, his father, the king Suddhodana, invited 107 learned Brahmins to his palace to select a suitable name for his only son, for his newly born son. Among these Brahmins, there were 8 Brahmins who were considered the most educated and most intelligent. And the youngest of these most educated Brahmins was the Brahmin called Kondanya. The rest of the Brahmins raised 2 fingers and said, if this prince were to remain at home, he is bound to be a universal monarch, Chakravarti Raja, a wheel-turning monarch who might rule the entire world. And if he were to leave the household life, if he were to renounce, he is to become a fully enlightened being, a Samma Sambuddha. 2 alternatives were given. Yet, the youngest Brahmin, the Kondanya, he raised just a 1 finger and he said, there is no alternative. He will never ever remain in the household life. he will never become a king. He is to leave this palace, to renounce, to be ordained, and to be the perfectly enlightened Buddha. There is no alternative. But the king didn't like it. King was not happy with this prediction. The king, the father, wanted his son to keep in the palace so that one day he will rule this entire kingdom, entire world, in fact. After that prediction, that young Brahmin, together with another 3 sons of other Brahmins, renounced the household life and became ascetics in the name of the future Buddha, in the name of the future ascetic who is going to become a Buddha. They left the household life, went to the forest and started practicing. The king, the father, created all the possibilities and stopped all the possibilities for this young boy, young prince, to remain at home and to stop his disgust towards the life, towards the worldly life, and to stop his renunciation. Mind you, these are Shakyans. Shakyans are the ones, if we translate, they are the warriors, the warrior caste. So this young prince was educated with all the arts and crafts, with all the skills of a warrior. By the age of 16, the young prince was a fully fledged, fully trained warrior. He knew all the arts, all the systems related to the warfare at that time. A fully fledged aristocrat. But we all know, by the age of 29, though all the comforts that are available at that time in the world were provided for him, though he was living the most luxurious life in the world, though all the material wealth is at hand for him, he was always feeling something empty within, something missing within. I have everything. I'm living like a divine being, having all the luxuries around me, yet I feel I'm a beggar within. I'm a beggar in my spirituality, in my heart. I feel empty there. These ever inquisitive, ever questioning young man, young prince, was questioning, is this the life? Having all the material wealth is the life? Or is there something beyond the life? And this prince, at the age of 29, he saw the dark side of the life, the negative side of the life. the eternal unhappy endings of the life that we get old one day. He saw an old man. He has never seen an old man before. For the first time he saw an old man, he thought this must be an actor. He is acting like this. He asked his charioteer, what has happened to this man? Then the charioteer, being honest with him, he just said, he has got old. When somebody gets old, this is what happened. Then the prince asked this question, is it going to happen to me also? The charioteer just said, yes, you too. One day will be walking, leaning onto a stick, shaking, sans teeth, losing hair. You will also one day going to be like this. Now the dream world is falling down. Dream world that this youth, that this young man is living is started to falling down. What I am experiencing is not forever. Going to lose sooner or later. With the old age, none of these things would matter to me. Then another day he saw a sick man wailing with the pain. A stomach ulcer, no cure. He is suffering so much that he is screaming in pain. Again Prince asked, what has happened to this man? And is it going to happen to me also? Then again, that ego being healthy is started vanishing from his heart. One day, I'm going to be sick like this again. If this can happen to that man, there is no reason that it cannot happen to me. So what's the point of being healthy for the time being? For such a trivial period of time, I feel healthy, but that is my destiny, to be sick. And then he saw a dead body. After getting old, after going through all those sicknesses, that is the end. Being carried by 4 men and being burnt on a pyre, becoming a heap of ash. This is my destiny also. He felt that this whole world is burning with old age, sickness and death. This is the reality. I am living in a dream world. I am living in a dream. The reality is that I must find some solution for this. But where can I find a solution? In this life, I can see is rituals, prayers. The rich doing rituals to be more rich. Asking for more. To become rich for what? To experience the sensual pleasures more. That's the only reason. I cannot see any kind of solution in the city for these realities waiting for us. Within few decades, these realities are there, and none of these rituals will be the answer for those realities. No matter how much you pray, you cannot stop getting old, getting sick, and being a dead body one day. So prayers, rituals are completely, absolutely useless. In this city life, in this worldly life, there is no answer for the eternal misery that the man is going through. I must find a solution and help these people who are blind in the temporarily provided sensual pleasures, who have forgotten the ultimate realities that are waiting for them. I must help them. But to help them, I must find the answer first. When he was reflecting like that, then he saw a hermit, an ascetic, a monk, walking slowly, being calm and peaceful. When he saw this monk, immediately the idea came, this must be the way. This must be the method to find an answer for this misery. Then he decided to renounce, not because he did not love his father, wife, or the newly born son. No, there is no such a thing. He loved them so much. He loved them so much he wanted to find a way to help them to get rid of the misery waiting for them within few years' time. Within few years' time, he himself and all the rest of the people he is associating, going to be old, going to be sick, and he cannot help them. Nobody can help him to stop this old age and sicknesses and ultimately to become a dead body. So out of great love towards these people, out of great compassion towards these people, he decided to renounce all the comforts, luxuries at the mid of the night. In the mid of the night, when everybody is fast asleep, with his horse and the charioteer, his friend Channa and Kantaka, the horse and the charioteer, he renounced the palace. When he went to the city gate, he looked back and he saw his palace, beautiful in the moonlight. What he saw was not the beauty, but he felt like that palace is burning. Palace is burning with everybody inside. It is burning with sicknesses. It is burning with weaknesses. It is burning with passions. It is burning with defilements. He wanted to rush and find a method to help them to get out of this misery, the burning. He renounced and the search started. First, he did not have the idea that to be enlightened himself. No, he did not have such idea. He went to those masters who were the spiritual seekers, who were the seekers of meditation, spiritual training, spiritual practices. He went to them and offered himself to practice under them. With an open heart, with absolute confidence on them, he absorbed their teachings and practiced. Each teacher was teaching different techniques, saying this is the only way for the liberation, but what he found was that all those teachers were sadly ignorant in their liberation. What they have achieved as liberation, some were on the way to the liberation but have stopped in the middle thinking that it is liberation. But the ever inquisitive Bodhisattva was never misguided or deceived. He understood that this is not the liberation. He respected those teachers, yet he was not to be deceived by their words because he was inquisitive, he was questioning, he was a discoverer. He will not just listen and accept. He is questioning more. So he found certain teachers, they have been developing concentration and they have achieved the stages of jhana, stages of the development in concentration, and they have come to the conclusions that this is the final liberation. No further practice is needed. Bodhisattva practiced them, achieved those liberation, achieved those stages of development, but he found the permanent liberation is not there. The defilements are still remaining within. You haven't done anything for those defilements. As long as the defilements are there, you are bound to return to the rolling process of samsara. So he understood these masters who have developed concentration haven't found any sort of permanent liberation. They have found bliss, joy, happiness, peace, but not the liberation. So the practice of concentration at that time, he found, were insufficient, not enough for permanent liberation. Then he went to the other side of the practice, which was very popular at that time, which was mostly recommended, accepted, venerated by the entire country at that time, which is called the Atta Kilamatanu Yoga, extreme self-mortification, which is even currently existing in India, in Bihar, in Madhya Pradesh. It is there. They do all sorts of methods, all sorts of techniques to torture their physical body. Putting it in hunger is one of them. During the snowy nights, when the temperature is below zero, when everybody else is hiding, remaining at home, sitting near the fires, finding the warmth, the Bodhisattva jumped into a river and took a bath. This is to torture. Extremely cold nights, he took baths. Extremely hot days, when the scorching sun is blazing above, he sat on a stone, having put fires around him. All sorts of techniques he applied, he trained himself for the sake of liberation. He totally, not a lukewarm practice, but 100% total sacrifice for this Atta Kilamatana Yoga. During these days, the 5 ascetics headed by Kondanya, who had this firm belief that this is the one, this is the future Buddha. These 5 monks, ascetics, Kondanya, Vappa, Baddiya, Mahanama, Assaji. These 5 ascetics came to the Bodhisattva, came to ascetic Gautama, and they helped him. They helped him to practice Atta Kilamatana Yoga. And the Bodhisattva was pushing himself exclusively on this practice of self-tormentation. He became a living skeleton. A living skeleton. On the verge of death. One day he fell down unconscious. So weak, so fragile, about to die. He fell down unconscious. He woke up. When he woke up, he realized that this self-tormentation is not leading him anywhere. This self-tormentation, torturing the physical body, is not giving him, not granting him the aspired goal of liberation. So the liberation has nothing to do with physical tormentation. That's what he came. That's what he concluded. With this conclusion, he decided to regain his health back, his physical strength back. He started taking food. When he started taking food, what happened? His supporters, those 5 ascetics, they left him. What did they think? They thought Bodhisattva has given up. He has given up his struggle for enlightenment. For them, in their eyes, the only way of liberation is self-mortification, nothing else. Self-mortification. You torture yourself and one day you will get liberated. Because they thought whatever karmic deposits you have deposited within you, they are in your physical body. The physicality is the cause of misery. Why? The physicality is the created, manifested factor of the past karma. So the past karma, all the karmic deposits are in the body. You torture the body continuously until that heap of karma is out of your body. That day you are liberated. That is their notion. That is their belief. This is what the entire spiritual world at that time in India have been thinking. This is what they have expected. This is what they have accepted. This is the way to be liberated. When Bodhisattva gave up his self-tormentation, these 5 ascetics, they were disheartened. They lose their hope. Even Kondanya, who had this firm belief that this prince is going to be a Buddha one day, he also thought, I might be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Because in their eyes, for enlightenment, there is no alternative, but you must torture your body. This is the only way. That is what their belief. They never ever thought that there is another way for the liberation. So they left Buddha. They left Buddha and far away they went to the place called Isipatana, Migadaya, Benares. Now Buddha is left alone. Bodhisattva is left alone now in the forest. He was not disheartened. He was not disappointed. He was not feeling any lonely because of that. His determination was never gone. He had this full determination, the grit in his heart. He is never going to give up. Then he had this review. He had this review that I have been concentrating to the top level. I didn't get any development, didn't get any enlightenment. Then I totally went into the practice of self-mortification, torturing the physical body, but I didn't get any positive result. What if I create some twist and turn in these practices? I use concentration and I apply this self-mortification to the spiritual self-mortification, in the sense to stop the present accumulation of karma and to remove the past accumulated sankharas from my system, from my vijnana, the consciousness. Utilizing the concentration to stop the present accumulations, present sankharas, and to remove the past sankharas. Now, mind you, this is the same thing, but in the wrong way, practiced in the Attakilamatthana Yoga. In the Attakilamatthana Yoga, their concern was the physical body is where the deposit happened. Physical body is what the karma is making. So they wanted to stop the physical body creating any karma and to remove the past karma from the physical body. Now this is the same philosophy applied to the consciousness, to be mindful not to generate any sankhara and to remove the past sankhara. This is called the vipassana, insight. This is the discovery of the Buddha. Discovery of the Buddha is called the vipassana, insight meditation. That meditation is applied for the consciousness, in the sense, in this meditation you are being mindful, you are practicing awareness, being sati sampajanya, being ever mindful, to not to let the mind to generate any accumulations and to remove the past accumulations. This is called the insight meditation. And he started practicing on this. And we all know, on a Vesak full moon day, he got rid of all the accumulations. All the accumulations are gone out of him, and only the ultimate purity is within him. he got enlightened. When he got enlightened, we know that he uttered a paean of joy, udana gata, aneka jati sangsarang, sandavisang anibisang. He saw his past lives. In infinite number of lifetimes, I was running from one physical body to another. Being a human, being an animal, being a bird, being a fish, being a divine being, and sometimes even in hell, I have been running again and again, incessantly, unabisang from life to life. I was so tired of this running, jumping from one body to another. Gahakarakang gave santo dukkha jati punang. I was searching for the one who is creating the house of life. Gahakaraka. In his eyes, this life is a house. There is a creator for this, not somebody external. I was searching for this creator, which is my own craving within. Gahakaraka dittosi. I saw the creator. Punagehang kahasi. He will never create a house for me ever again. I saw the tanha who creates this house. Desire, the greed which creates this house. I destroyed him. I destroyed him totally. He will never create me the house. Sabate pasuka bagga gahakutang visankitang. I destroyed all his equipments, which is utilized to create the house. Then ultimately at the end of this gatha, Buddha says how his consciousness, how his mind at that moment is. Visankaragatam chittang tanhanam kaya majjaga. My mind is visankaragatam, without sanskaras, no accumulations, no deposits in my mind, only the absolute purity. Because in that mind, tanahanang kaya majjaga, the desires are destroyed. Because that mind is only the purity. No sanskaras. It is the ultimate emptiness within. Now this realization is there. After the realization, we all know that the Buddha spent 7 weeks, 49 days under and in the vicinity of the Bodhi tree. He didn't go anywhere. He was enjoying this immense bliss, immense joy which he was looking for in searching life after life. This is the realization. So he wanted to enjoy it. He wanted to enjoy that immense bliss of Nibbana. 49 days he spent. And during these days, he was thinking also whether he's going to teach this Dhamma or not. The reason? The reason is, he found with his own experience that the world is not ready for an alternative. the world is fixed upon certain beliefs that worldly beings in the cities, in the villages, they are fixed upon rituals, rites, ceremonies. For what? To gain more worldly, more mundane material benefits. That's why they do prayers for all those invisible powers to gain more and more. They are in that extreme. For them to ask to meditate is impossible. They are not ready for it. And the other extreme, the meditators in the forest, some are fixed upon concentration. They won't accept vipassana. They won't accept insight meditation. And some are fixed upon physical torture, physical tormentation. They won't either accept this middle path. This middle path where you take care of your physical body towards moderate level, and also you take care of your spirituality. A balanced path. They won't accept this. So he was in a kind of a thinking whether the world is ready for him, whether the world is ready to listen to what he says and practice what he says. It says there was a Brahmin, a Brahma, descended from the Brahma world and invited him, telling him that the world is ready. There are beings with little dust in their eyes. They can see what you say. They can understand what you say, and they will practice. If you don't teach, Blessed One, they will be losing the opportunity for the enlightenment. They are the ones who are in danger. They will go back again to the rolling stone of samsara. They will lose the opportunity to open their eyes fully, to wake up fully. So please, do teach Dhamma. Then the Buddha accepted this invitation, and he was thinking, to whom should I teach first? To whom should my first Dhamma talk is? He was searching, he was thinking about his former teachers. When he searched mentally, he found that they are dead and gone. They have passed away and have taken rebirth in the Brahma realms where the physical body is no more. So you cannot teach Dhamma to them. Then who are the ones who are known to him and who know him? They are the 5 monks, 5 ascetics. They know him. So it is easier to teach them than anybody else. So he decided to go to these 5 monks who are living in quite far away in Isipatana, Benares. So Buddha set out in the direction of Isipatana to teach the Dhamma. On his way, he met some people, but he never taught them, never taught Dhamma to them. He just casually exclaimed certain stanzas without teaching Dhamma. So he was heading for Isipatana. Isipatana is the name had come to the existence because this is the place where the sages, meditators, who have developed their meditation to such a level, they could fly in the sky like birds. They could walk in the sky. And in their journey in the sky, they descend to this place, this particular land, to take a rest. So you see the sages patana fall down. The common people on the ground, they thought these sages are falling down. So they gave this place the name where the sages fall down, Isi Patana. And another name is there for this place. It is called Migadaya, where the deer given a common pardon, amnesty by the king at that time. The king had given a common amnesty for those deer in the city. As long as they remain in this park, they are safe. Nobody to hunt. So it is called the Migadaya. This is the place where the five ascetics were residing at that time. This is a flat land. Buddha is coming. He is coming. And these five ascetics saw afar that the Buddha is coming to see them. And when they saw the Buddha, they were not happy. They thought that ascetic Gautama had gone back to the luxurious life. He had given up the practice. He broke our hearts. He broke his promise. He could have been enlightened if he continued. He gave up. He should not be respected by us. So we should not go and welcome him at the front of the gate. We wait for him to come in. We will not give him water to wash his feet. Since he is a prince, a former prince, we will give him somewhere to sit. That's enough. But when the Buddha is coming, getting closer, they couldn't stand what they were discussing. They ran towards the Buddha. Some took his alms bowl, another took his extra robes, welcomed him to the temple. When he came in, they gave him a bucket of water to wash his feet, and then he sat down. After sitting down, they started talking, discussing about their well-being. During this discussion, these five ascetics were addressing him as friend, avuso, friend. Buddha stopped them. You shouldn't address me as friend because I have gone beyond that. I am liberated. I have achieved the realization. I am enlightened. It is better you call me either Bhagavan or Tathagata. Not as friend. But these five monks were not ready to accept. They said, we saw your practice. We saw how long you have been struggling. But you didn't achieve anything. You are not enlightened. Being a luxurious, well-fed, living a comfortable life, how come you say that you are enlightened? The Buddha said, I have not been luxurious. I have found a new path, new technique for the enlightenment. I came here to teach that new technique for the sake of your liberation. Ready to accept, ready to listen to me. Still these 5 monks were rejecting him. For the 3 times Buddha was repeating, but these 5 monks were not ready to accept. Then Buddha said, "You know me well. Have I ever told you a lie before? Have I ever lied to you before? While I was practicing with you, have I ever said anything like that I am seeing lights, my realization must be closer to me now? I must be enlightened very soon now? Have I ever lied to you?" And all these 5 monks agreed to that one. "You have never lied to us." Then Buddha said, "I am not lying to you now also. I am being absolutely truthful to you." Though the ascetics were not still convinced with the Buddha's new technique for enlightenment, but they are convinced that Buddha is saying the truth. He is not lying to us. This is the beauty when somebody is truthful. No matter how difficult it is, when you are truthful, when it becomes your principle, when others know that, they believe your word. That belief, strong belief in your words are there. That you keep your promise. You never lie, you never deceive. That's how the ascetics believed the Buddha. They knew that this prince, this bodhisattva, this ascetic never lie. He never lies. So they started accepting his words. And they were ready to listen to the Buddha. In our next talk, and few talks maybe, we will be explaining, probably word by word, the teaching that the Buddha gave to them on that day in Isipatana, Benares, in Megadaya. Please be with us, join us. Same time, every Saturdays, 6 to 7. With that, we finish this talk for today. Let's share the happiness, the joy that we generated in our hearts, in our minds, with our departed ones, with the devas, with the wish that may all the deities or the devas be rejoiced with our merits, be rejoiced with our joy based on Dhamma. And may the devas' protection, guidance, and love be with you. May the devas' help be with you. May the devas rejoice with our merits. May our departed ones be rejoiced with our merits, wherever they are, however they are, if they are still in connection with us psychologically. May these merits be upon them. May their present existence thus become blissful, happy, and peaceful by the power of these merits. Let's share these merits. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanang chirang rakkantu desanang chirang rakkantu mang paranti. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Blessings for you. Dukkaroga bhayavera soka sabbe upadava anekantaraya pi vinassantu ca tejasa jaya siddhi dhanang labhang sotti bhagyan sukhang balang siriyayuca vannoca bhogang buddhi ca yasava Satavassaca ayuca jiva siddhi bhavantu te ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevaca ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. Sadhu Sadhu, sadhu. Good night, everybody.